It all started 2 weeks after I moved into my new apartment on the outskirts of town. The rent was suspiciously cheap, the building half empty, and the landlord a little too eager to hand me the keys. But I was desperate. A job transfer had dropped me here with just 3 weeks' notice, and I didn't have time to be picky. The apartment itself was fine. 2 bedrooms, old hardwood floors, creaky pipes, and a faint smell of dust and something else. Something animal-like. I chalked it up to age and poor ventilation. The first few days were uneventful. I unpacked, arranged furniture, explored the quiet neighborhood and tried to settle in. There were no signs of trouble. No red flags. Until the night of the storm. Rain hammered the windows like fists. Thunder boomed deep and angry, and the wind howled in a way that felt almost human. I couldn't sleep. I lay there tossing and turning, every creak of the building sounding louder, closer. That's when I saw it. I had turned onto my side, facing the dresser across the room, when my eyes adjusted to the darkness and I noticed the faint shimmer of 2 eyes reflecting the dim streetlight sneaking through the blinds. Round. White. Unblinking. At first I thought it was my imagination. Maybe a trick of the light or the reflection of something metallic. But then it moved. Slowly the shape emerged from the shadows. A large, sleek cat bigger than any house cat I'd seen. It was crouched low, muscles tensed, fur a deep dark brown that looked almost black in the low light. It didn't make a sound. It just stared at me. I froze. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure it would hear. I reached slowly for my phone on the nightstand, never breaking eye contact. When I turned on the flashlight and pointed it directly at the dresser, nothing. The dresser was empty. No cat. No glowing eyes. No trace. I laughed nervously, trying to convince myself I had imagined it. Maybe it was a half-dream, some kind of waking nightmare. I had been under a lot of stress lately. That had to be it. The next morning I found deep scratch marks on the inside of my bedroom door. I told myself I didn't see what I thought I saw. I told myself the scratches were old. Maybe from a previous tenant with a pet. Maybe from moving furniture. But I couldn't ignore the cold pit forming in my stomach. It didn't end there. The following night I double-checked every window and door before bed. I even wedged a chair under the doorknob like in the movies. I needed peace of mind. But around 3:14 a.m. I woke up again. This time it was the sound that did it. A low, guttural growl. So soft I wasn't sure if I actually heard it or just imagined it in the space between dreams and waking. I sat up in bed and felt it immediately. The same presence, the same sense of being watched. My eyes darted around the room. Nothing. Then I looked up. It was perched on top of the closet door, high above, its body draped over the edge like a predator on a branch. Those same eyes burning into me. It didn't blink. It didn't breathe. It just watched. I shot out of bed, flipping the light switch. Once again, nothing. The door was empty. No cat. No fur. No marks. But the next morning my bedsheets had long, ragged tears through them. Claw marks. I finally decided to talk to the landlord. I didn't tell him everything. I didn't want to sound insane. But I asked if any neighbors had pets, or if animals had ever gotten into the building. He gave me a strange look. No cats allowed in the building, he said, his voice flat. Especially not wild ones. Wild ones? I asked. He stared at me a little too long. Then forced a smile. Just figure of speech. I went back upstairs and didn't sleep that night. I started researching animal-related folklore. Maybe it was a spirit, a hallucination, some kind of shadow creature? But nothing I found matched what I was experiencing. Nothing felt real enough. That's when the dreams started. I'd wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, the memory of heavy paws pressing into my chest fading fast. In the dreams I couldn't move. I'd see the cat, bigger, more monstrous, its body stretching unnaturally long as it crept closer, closer, its face always morphing into something else at the last second. Sometimes human. Sometimes mine. One night I decided to stay awake to see if I could catch it in the act. I kept the lights on, drank coffee, sat on the edge of my bed with a camera pointed at the dresser. 3 a.m. passed. Then 4 o'clock. Nothing. I blinked just once, and when I opened my eyes again the room was dark. The camera was off. My bedside lamp shattered on the floor. And the wildcat was sitting on my chest. I couldn't scream. I couldn't breathe. Its weight was enormous, unnatural, like an elephant's gravity packed into a feline shape. Its face was inches from mine. I could feel its breath, hot, rancid, almost human. Its eyes were wide, intelligent, furious. Then it spoke. Not out loud. In my head. This was mine. You took it. Well, I watch. Then it vanished. When I could move again, I crawled out of bed and vomited on the floor. I didn't sleep after that. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it, closer than before. I started locking myself in different rooms, changing sleep schedules, even sleeping in my car once. It always found me. Always watching. It's been a week now. I'm barely functioning. I've tried blessing the apartment, burning sage, talking to a psychic I found online. Nothing helps. I even checked old tenant records. There was one before me, name redacted, left suddenly after 6 months. But there was a police report. Unexplained animal attacks. Large claw marks. Psychological breakdown. Same unit. My unit. And now I understand. I didn't take this place. It was given to me. After what happened with the reflection, after I saw it behind me in my computer screen, I slammed the laptop shut so hard I cracked the corner. I stood frozen in the middle of the room, too afraid to turn around. But when I did, it wasn't there. I searched the apartment from top to bottom. Nothing. No signs of life. No paw prints. No glowing eyes. Just silence and the feeling of being constantly watched. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I spent those hours researching, reading everything I could about spirits, familiars, doppelgangers, and ancient curses. I went down forums filled with rambling posts from paranoid people and conspiracy theorists. But one thread caught my attention. It was titled, "The Cat That Follows You Home and Won't Leave." There were only a few comments and it had been posted nearly 5 years ago. The original poster, Ravendor7, described a story eerily similar to mine. Moved into a new place, started seeing a large wild cat watching him at night, waking up with claw marks and dreams that didn't feel like dreams. The final comment simply said, "It's not a cat. It's what came before the cat." I clicked on the user's profile but it was gone. Deleted. Scrubbed. That night I dreamed of a field. It stretched endlessly, dry grass swaying in a wind I couldn't feel. The sky was too low, pressing down on me like a lid, and in the center of the field was a stone house with no windows. Just one door. It was open. I didn't want to go inside but my body moved on its own. As I stepped through the threshold, I heard a sound I'll never forget, the yowling of something in pain. Something ancient. And then I saw the scratches, hundreds of them, on the walls, the floors, even the ceiling. Claw marks. Desperate. Almost intelligent. I woke up with my hands bleeding. Not scratched. Not bruised. Bleeding. Long, thin cuts ran down my palms and forearms like I'd been digging through broken glass. The wild cat hadn't visited me that night. As I had gone to it. I started noticing new things in the apartment. Shadows moving just out of sight. The faint sound of purring in the walls. My phone would ring and when I answered, I'd hear the same low growl that had woken me before. Always just one breath, then silence. One morning I found my fridge door wide open and every piece of meat, raw or cooked, was gone. Just gone. No wrappers, no crumbs. Not even blood. Like it had been taken. I didn't tell anyone. What would I even say? "Hey, I think a ghost cat is stealing my chicken thighs and tearing open my dreams." No one would believe me. But someone did. There's an old woman who lives 2 floors down, Mrs. Ellings. I ran into her in the laundry room while trying to wash my blood-stained sheets for the 3rd time in a week. She eyed the scratches on my arms but didn't say anything right away. As I loaded the machine, she said in a low voice, "You see it, don't you?" I froze. "I used to live in your apartment," she continued, staring into the machine as if watching something other than clothes swirl around. "Back in the 80s. That thing was already there." "What is it?" I asked, heart pounding. "What does it want?" She looked at me then. Really looked. Her eyes were glassy, tired, but sharp. "It watches," she said. "And it waits. It attaches to places. Old places. Places where blood has been spilled. And once it marks you." She trailed off. "Then what?" I demanded. Mrs. Ellings didn't answer. She just handed me a small bundle wrapped in red cloth. "Put this under your bed," she whispered. "Don't open it. Don't ask questions. Just do it." I wanted to believe it was nonsense. that she was just a senile old woman caught in some shared hallucination. But that night, for the first time in days, I fell into a deep, uninterrupted sleep. No dreams. No scratching. No presence. When I woke, the red bundle was gone. I searched everywhere. It had completely vanished. And then I noticed something even more disturbing. On the floor beneath my bed, where the bundle had been, was a single bloody paw print. Large. Wild. Feline. My reprieve didn't last. The next night I was jolted awake not by sounds or shadows, but by a scream. It came from inside the building. A woman's voice, shrill and terrified, echoing up the stairwell. I ran into the hallway and found other neighbors doing the same. Everyone looked scared, confused. The scream had come from apartment 3B. That's one floor below mine. Police showed up within minutes. We weren't allowed near the scene, but I caught a glimpse as they wheeled out a stretcher. A man lay on it, unconscious or worse, his arms shredded with deep gashes. Not like knife wounds. More like he'd been mauled. No one saw an animal. No one heard one. No evidence of a break-in. And just before the paramedics closed the doors, his eyes fluttered open and locked onto mine. He mouthed something I couldn't hear. But I understood anyway. It's yours now. Back in my apartment, I locked every door and window. I sat on my bed with my back against the wall, lights on, a kitchen knife in my hand. My breathing was shallow. My mind raced. Had I brought this thing back? Had I become the host? Just then my phone buzzed. A text. No number. Just a black bubble with 3 words. Check the mirror. I didn't want to. I already knew what I'd see. But I looked. At first just my reflection. Pale, exhausted, trembling. Then something shimmered behind me, just over my shoulder. Eyes. Glowing. Unblinking. The mirror began to crack from the inside as if something on the other side was clawing to get out. I haven't turned on the lights in days. That might sound backwards. Most people are afraid of the dark, but I've learned the truth. The cat prefers the light. It's bolder in it. Proud. Like it wants to be seen. But in the dark, it's still a predator. Still waiting. Still hunting. After the mirror incident, after it cracked from the inside, I started getting nosebleeds. They'd come randomly, violently, like someone punched me in the face. My fingernails would turn black at the edges. I stopped recognizing my own voice in recordings. It always sounded deeper. Like someone else speaking through me. And the dreams? They changed. No longer just fields and distant howls. Now I dream of doors. Endless hallways lined with wooden doors, all shut tight, all pulsing with sound. Some with soft sobbing behind them. Others with scratching. One door, I don't know how I know this, is mine. And it's opening more every night. 1 inch. Then 3. Last night it was halfway open. Something is behind it. Something that wants in. 2 nights ago I tried to leave. I grabbed my bag, car keys, and bolted out of the building. Didn't even lock the door. But when I turned the corner of the block, I found myself back at the front steps. I didn't walk back. I was just there. Like the world looped and dropped me right where I started. I tried again. And again. Each time the same thing. Like some invisible tether pulled me in reverse. On my 5th attempt, something different happened. There was a sound in the hallway when I returned. A purring, louder than before. Throatier. Too deep to be a house cat. As I ascended the stairs, it followed me. But when I turned to look, there was nothing. Only a fresh trail of muddy paw prints, leading to my door. Except here's the terrifying part. They didn't start at the entrance. They started inside the apartment. And walked out. I haven't slept. I can't. If I even blink too long, I see them, those glowing eyes behind my lids. I've taken to drawing them, over and over, on napkins, on receipts, on the walls. Feels like I'm trying to remember something. Or maybe, try not to forget. This morning I found something new. A door. Not a dream door. A real one. A small, almost hidden hatch in the back of the hallway closet I swore didn't exist before. It was low to the ground, maybe 4 feet tall, with an iron handle and deep claw marks around the frame. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't want to open it. But I knew I had to. I grabbed my phone and flashlight and slowly turned the handle. The door creaked open to reveal nothing. Just stairs. Narrow and spiraling downward into pitch blackness. No wind. No smell. Just cold, dead air. I stepped inside and descended. Each step groaned under my weight. The sound of my own breathing echoed against unseen walls. Then the stairs ended. I was in a room, stone, windowless and circular. Candles flickered in wall sconces, though I never lit them. In the center was a single object, an old wooden cradle swaying slightly. Inside it, a bundle of fur. I approached slowly. My flashlight flickered. It was a cat. Small. So. Its fur matted with dried blood. It wasn't breathing. And yet, I knew it was watching me. A low growl filled the room, not from the cradle but from all around me. Then I heard a voice behind me. You finally found it. I turned sharply. There, standing in the doorway, was Mrs. Ellings. But she looked different. Younger. Her skin was smooth, her hair full and dark, eyes sharp and filled with something ancient. What is this place? I whispered. The beginning, she said. This is where it chose you. I didn't choose this. No, she said, stepping closer. But someone always has to carry it. She raised her hand. Her fingers were blackened at the tips, like mine. You fed it, she said. When you accepted the apartment. When you opened the mirror. When you walked into the dream. I shook my head, backing away. This thing, it's killing me. No, she said softly. It's becoming you. I looked down at my hands. They were shaking. And beneath my fingernails, something dark and glistening pulsed like liquid shadow. I ran. When I emerged from the secret door, it was gone. Vanished like it was never there. But now the apartment is wrong. Everything is darker. Colder. My reflection in the window doesn't always mimic my movements. The scratch marks are on every wall. And that low growl? It's constant. Like it's inside my ears. Inside my head. That night I recorded myself while I slept. I had to know what was happening while I was unconscious. The footage was short. Only 6 minutes. But in that time I watched myself rise from bed at 3:11 a.m. My eyes were open. I walked to the corner of the room, and began scratching at the wall with both hands. Slowly. Methodically. But it wasn't just scratching. I was drawing something. When I paused the video and zoomed in, my breath caught in my throat. It was a cat's face. Twisted, snarling, fangs bared, eyes wide. The same face I'd seen every night. And beneath it, a name. My name. I don't remember falling asleep. I haven't for days. Sleep just happens now. One blink and I'm there again, in the hallway. The one with the endless doors. But this time the air was heavier. Charged. Like something had been waiting. And the door, the one that's always been mine, was wide open. There was no sound coming from it. Just a dark, yawning space. I stepped in. The world beyond the door wasn't part of the dream. It felt older. More real than anything I'd ever experienced awake. The floor was wood, warped and blackened by age. Walls pulsed like they were alive, faintly breathing. And from somewhere deep inside I heard it. That low, echoing growl. But now it was layered. Multiple growls merging like a chorus of wild beasts. And beneath it all, something whispered my name. Soft. Familiar. I walked deeper. The hallway twisted, impossibly long. Paintings lined the walls. Portraits of people with missing faces. Smudged eyes. Some of them looked like they were mid-scream. One of them looked like me. I passed a mirror and stopped. My reflection stood still while I moved. Then it raised its hand and waved. I ran. The hallway ended in a doorless room. Stone floor, ash-covered ceiling. In the center was a single wooden chair. Tied to it was me. Or at least, the version of me that hadn't opened the door. Weak. Still human. It opened its eyes and whispered, "Help me." But before I could move, a shape emerged from the shadows behind the chair. Not the cat. Not anymore. It was something far worse. A towering beast, humanoid but covered in coarse, bristling fur. Its face was stretched, part feline, part skeletal, with a gaping maw lined in curling, endless rows of teeth. Its fingers ended in claws as long as butcher knives. Eyes glowing like twin furnace fires. It didn't speak. It didn't roar. It just existed, an ancient, perfect predator. I couldn't move. It stepped forward and placed one clawed hand on the other version of me. The chair sank into the ground, dragged into a hole that hadn't been there before. The last thing I saw was my own face sinking into the earth, mouth open in a silent scream. Then, darkness. I woke up in my bed. No blood. No scratches. Just the feeling of wrongness. Of absence. When I looked in the mirror, my reflection smiled before I did. Things got worse after that. The cat is no longer hiding. It walks the apartment openly now, sometimes brushing up against me as it passes as if I belong to it. My neighbors avoid me. I heard whispers from behind their doors. One called me the new vessel. Another just muttered a prayer. Even technology is rebelling. My phone auto-types on its own. Let it in repeated over and over in my notes app. One night my TV turned on by itself. Snowy static buzzed before forming a single frame. A close-up of the wildcat's eye. And in the reflection of that eye, I saw the cradle. The one from the secret basement. Spack. I returned to the closet. Sure enough, the hidden door had returned. But this time it wasn't locked. Inside was the spiral staircase again, but it went up, not down. At the top was a room I hadn't seen before. A nursery. The cradle was there. On the walls were claw marks, names scratched in hundreds of overlapping rows. Some I recognized, past tenants I guess. Others were just dates. The last one was mine. Burned in. Suddenly the cat was there, curled in the corner like it had always been waiting. And then it spoke. Not with words but with thoughts. Loud. Piercing. You opened the door. You saw the other side. Now there is no side. I backed away. The cat stood up, its eyes human now. My eyes. We do not feed on flesh. We feed on self. And you are almost ripe. That's when I saw it. The mirror on the wall showed a version of me, but covered in fur, crouched on all fours. My mouth opened to scream, but the reflection just licked its paw. And smiled. I tried to record myself again last night. But this time the footage was gone before I could watch it. Deleted. Wiped. Instead I found a single image saved in a hidden folder. A photo of me, curled at the foot of my bed. Sleeping. With glowing eyes in the darkness behind me. Not the cat. Me. The me that had already become the watcher. I tried leaving again. Packed everything, threw it into the car, drove 20 miles out of town with the gas pedal pinned. When I finally stopped, I stepped out and looked around. Same apartment building. Same street. Same cracked mailbox. I screamed until my throat gave out. There's no way out. I spoke with Mrs. Ellings one last time. She was standing in the hallway, eyes blank. I warned you, she said. But you chose the path. What is it? I begged. What does it want? He just smiled. Companionship. Before she turned to go, she added, you'll understand, once you start watching someone else sleep. That night, the final transformation began. My skin itches constantly. My teeth ache like they're stretching. I can smell everything. The rain outside. The mold in the walls. The heartbeat of a rat scuttling in the vents. I don't sleep anymore. Not because I'm scared. Because I don't need to. My eyes glow faintly in every reflection now. People avoid me. They don't recognize me. Even my own voice sounds like a growl. I caught my reflection yesterday, crouched behind a couch, eyes wide, ears pulled back. The wild cat is gone. Left the moment I accepted it. Because now I am the watcher.